Quadrilon. Nossa, Quadrilon.
Just welcome you all here. This is a statutory health and safety brief. First of all, there are no alarms expected tonight. If we hear of any, it's genuine. The emergency doors are there and there. Follow the green light, which you can see. Go turn to your right-hand side and exit the building from that side. If you go that way, you form up on the helicopter pad. If you go that way and follow again the green lights, you form up by the flagstaff. Any questions? Follow me.
My pleasure, first of all, to pass a few comments about people here. Can I, first of all, in case I forget, thank Commander Ian Berry and his staff here for the hospitality. And I'm quite sure you'll see the hospitality later in the evening. Guest speaker, Simon Plum, who's the finance director from Central Office. It's always nice to see someone looking at the finance side going north instead of going south. Marcus Hawthorne, who's the regional manager of the Royal British Legion, is also going to give us a presentation on the Veterans Gateway, which will be launched in April, i.e. next week. Can I welcome Matt Bauer, the Regional Volunteer Support Manager, our friends from Northumberland and Longside House, Wilma and Sandy Hunter, and our friends from Avondale House, Liz Highmore, from the Veterans.
Which has kept the office in funds and managed to at least keep the branch solvent. As you know, we're no longer supported by grant in aid anymore, and we rely entirely on our own funds to run the branch. So on this basis, we're actually managing to balance the books. And again, I think our treasurer will confirm this later on. And apart from that, I'd just like to thank everybody in the branch, particularly the staff in the office.
As you will see, there's two bits to it. One is the top half of the receipts and payments accounts for the administration account with the budget inherited for the year as a comparison. And also, slightly stranger beats, the consolidated balance sheet for the whole branch, which includes the organised account as well as the administration account.
Branch treasurer, who unfortunately can't be with us.
No, he's on his way back from a pilgrimage tour in Belgium, so he apologises for not being here to receive it, and he couldn't believe he'd been here 5 years. So much to do.
So the next one is John McClellan, who gets a 10 years badge and certificate.
He's here, yeah.
Scallion, who has 20 years as a caseworker in Sunderland. Steve.
Unfortunately couldn't come. I think he would have liked to be here, but he looks after an elderly mother and he can't leave. So I will make sure that he gets it though.
Right. Now this stage, slightly invidious, because our guest speaker, Simon, is Central Office, perhaps to give 2 certificates. First is
right. So the reason for me presenting this award will become very obvious in a minute, because it's to award Jeremy a 10-year service award.
The next one is also very appropriate, and that's to Colonel Bill Porteous, our Vice President, for 20 years service as branch chairman and 10 years as the branch Vice President. Cliche. Lauren is 21 years old and currently a student at Sunderland University. She's been known to SSAFA for many years, and very sadly her father, Chris McLeish, was killed while serving with the Royal Engineers in Bosnia when Lauren was only a few months old. Lauren's been brought up by her grandmother, Teresa, who is also here this evening, and she decided she'd like to put on a dinner in memory of her father, Chris, on the 21st anniversary of his death, and give the proceeds to SSAFA as a thank you for all their support. She hoped to raise a considerable donation, but the results far exceed her expectation. She raised over £1,900 for the dinner, thanks to the generosity of Christopher's many friends, and those who are able to come to dinner donated a further some £1,600 online to make a grand total of over £3,500. It's a very brief presentation by David Weatherstone, who is the Assistant Outreach Officer of Charge, England's Northern Cavalry. David,
Yes.
so that should tell us briefly.
Yeah, I will keep it brief, actually. My name is David Weatherstone. Thank you very much for the opportunity to talk tonight. Some of you may be aware that in the past, Discovery Museum has been the home of the Light Dragoons Regimental Museum and has had a gallery called A Soldier's Life up until last year. A couple of coincidental reasons meant that they closed that, and they're planning a new gallery to open in October, which is Charge, the story of England's Northern Cavalry. I've recently been employed by the Discovery Museum. My background is military rather than museums, to engage the service and ex-service community in getting involved with that project. There's a couple of things about the gallery that, if they're not unique, are certainly unusual. First is that it will be themed rather than chronological, picking on key events in the regiments and the antecedent regiment's history, rather than just going chronologically from sort of the Crimean War. And secondly, a big part of the gallery will be the support structure that has evolved and the history of that support structure, being medical services, the support the families are given to servicemen, and the welfare support that is very high profile now, but hasn't always been quite so. So we're very keen on that. My brief is twofold, really. First of all, in the run-up to the opening of the gallery in October, is to engage with service communities in groups, either at locations of their choice or to host them at the museum. We have storerooms full of artefacts, of fascinating artefacts that people, I'm sure, would love to see, love to handle, love to talk about. We can do that, we can host people, and also give them a wider view of what the museum's about. We have an archive service that's open to the public, and all of this is free of charge. Certainly any hosting that we do, anything that we come to present to an organisation.
To the AGM, it's an absolute pleasure to be here. Can you see that?
Do you want to see him anymore?
Now you can see my best side. Right, okay, so I'm delighted to be here. What Edward didn't mention when he said that Tyne and Weir branches harmonised £464,000 is that will probably make you, if not the biggest branch in terms of harmonised income across the whole of SSAFA, you'll be in the top 2. So a hugely important branch, making a huge impact in this area. So I'm delighted to be here, and if there are any questions at the end, I'm very happy to try and answer them. So that the bidding process, we know there's going to be competition. We've just literally put our hat in the ring, we're waiting for the next stage from the MOD. And I've said to the new controller that for SSAFA, that is the most important thing that we can deliver this year. If we win that contract, having won the RAF contract, it puts the charity in a pretty nice position to do it. Because, Chairman, thank you very much again for inviting me to be here. I noticed I've been here to this AGM now for 3 years, and I think now I'm having to sing for all those suppers all in one go. But I'm very grateful that you invited me here. I'm not sure about the presentation, depends on the reception we get. But I see what you've done. You've also put me between everybody and the bar. So I have a question, which is, how long do I have? Would have heard something about it. I'll read a bit from the latest newsletter, just to sort of set the scene.
to say what the Veterans Gateway is. In November 2016, the Ministry of Defence announced £2 million of funding from the Covenant Fund, so libel money, for a one-stop service to better support British Armed Forces veterans in need. The service responds to calls from veterans, charities and groups for help in navigating the wide range of services and organisations set up to support those who have served in the forces. The service will be the first point of contact for veterans and their families to access information, advice and support on a range of issues, including healthcare, housing and employment. It will allow information and services from partners to be accessed from one place and all inquiries followed up to make sure they get the right support. The Veterans Gateway will provide website, online chat, phone line and text message services available to any veteran anywhere in the world 24 hours a day. Veterans can access face-to-face support through the Veterans Gateway network of partners and organisations across the UK and overseas. And the final point I said at the beginning is